Dear all UGC NET aspirants, today we will be looking at alphabetical coding. This is one of the areas where you can score high marks, and it's not a difficult thing. You can easily do the question when you just write it in a particular format. So let us see how we can do this. And here we need to know that alphabetical coding is of three different types: simple letter coding, coding with numerical digits, and mixed coding. So in letter coding, you may be asked to decode a particular letter given a sample, and in the second part, coding with numerical digits, you will be given letters which are coded in terms of numerical values, and once you have that numerical values, you may need to decode with another word. In mixed coding, we will be having a mix of letters as well as numerical digits. So let us see each of these types using previous year question paper problems. In the first case, simple letter coding, letters are allocated some artificial values, and it is based on some logical pattern, and once you observe that pattern, we can decode a coded word. So it is actually simple. When you see a problem, it will be clear to all of you. So this is a question which has been asked for June 2023 examination. So in a certain coding language, tour is written as 4156 and screw is written as 73698 and tear is written as 4926. How is the word sweater written in that language? You are given different options 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the alphabetical language tour is written as 4156 and screw is written as 73698. We have to decode how sweater has to be written. So given this, once we get this type of a question, we need to construct a table where you can represent all these letters. So you can see here tour is represented as 4156, and we just allocate the number of columns depending on the question. So here the last word sweater has got larger number of columns, so you allocate the table based on that. So tour you represent it here, and what is the number that is given for tour? That is 4156, so you represent that. Then we have screw, 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 and the numbers allocated below it, 73698. Then we have the other letter tear, that has been allocated the number 4926. So you write below each and every word the numerical digit associated with it. Now just we need to find out what is the option for sweater. So sweater, yes, you know the value for S has been allocated 7 here. You can see directly from the table S has been allocated 7. So you write that. From the table, W has been allocated 8, E has been allocated 9 based on this table, A will be 2, then T will be, from this table you can find out where is T. T has been allocated 4, E has been allocated 9 and R has been allocated 6. So option is D. So it's simple. Just you construct the table based on the required question and allocate that many number of columns and write the values just below it, and from that you can easily find out the option. That was the first question. Let us look at the next one. In a certain code, O is written as E, A as C, M as I, and S as O, N as P, E as M, I as A, E as N, and C as S. Then how will companion be written in that code? This has been asked for June 2022. The options are given here. So when we do it in a examination hall, we need to check the answers, whether the answers are coming according to our pattern, and you need to represent all the letters based on that. So just look at the options also. So draw the table and then arrange the words as I have already mentioned. So here I am writing down the values of each and every letter that has been given here. O is represented as E, then A is represented as C, M is represented as I, S as O, N as P, E as M, I as A, P as N, and C as S. So based on that, how will companion be represented? So you represent companion in that in the column format, and from this you can directly represent. C is represented as S, then O is represented as E, then M is represented as I, P as N, A as C, N as P, I as A, then O is represented as E, then N as P, like that. So just by looking at the columns itself we can directly write down. So answer will be option 1. So options will be given to you so that it will be difficult to find out. So you need to correctly know each and every letter in that options, because some of them may be confusing, some of the options may be confusing. So double check on the different options before representing the answer. So the answer is the first one. Now let us look at letter coding on a specific pattern. So you look at the observed specific pattern and proceed with the decoding. So let us see what this is. So here you are given, if greet is coded as PQDDS, then CDDO stands for dash. So here you represent greet as PQDDS as in a table format, and here I have represented this as great, and here you can see G is represented as F, R is represented as Q, E is D, A is D, and T as S. But if you look at these words, G is written as F. That means it is F comes A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So F is actually the precedent of G. Similarly, Q is the precedent of, that is why I have represented it as -1 here. So -1. D is actually the precedent of E. D is actually the precedent of A. Like that it comes. So S comes before T, like that. So when D O has to be represented, here you can see the options are represented in a different format. So it comes one after C. So the next word that we need to represent it as option answer is D, because it after C it is +1 D, then after D it is +1 E, after D again D E, it's +1 O, it's P. So this is how we find out the option. So here the answer is actually the successor of C coming here as options. So we need to carefully look at the options before representing the answer. This is one way. Similarly, here you can see, if PAT is coded as QRBCUV, how will you find the code for grace? That is the question asked. So here you are given different options. Directly by looking we cannot find it out, so we represent it as in a table form. Here if you look at PAT, the second letter A is coded as BC, and then immediately looking you can find out that P is coded as QR and T is coded as UV. So from this table we can find out that G has to be coded as HI, R is coded as ST, A is coded as BC, then C is coded as DE, E is coded as FG, and finally you get the answer as option 1. So one letter can be coded in terms of two different letters also. That type of a question is also coming. That is just by observing the letters only we can find it out. Now we can find out the next type, that is coding with numerical digits. So if train is coded as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then how will you code rain? Just in this question itself, the answer is hidden because train has got rain inside it. So you can see the options are also given. So if we carefully observe the question, the answer lies in it itself. So from that, rain can be directly decoded as 3, 4, 5, 6. The answer comes out as 1. So this is another way of simple representation, but you need to observe that pattern, then only we can find the answer. Then next one, if seldom is coded as 1, 2, 4, 3, 6, 5, how will you code mode? So the answers options are given in terms of numbers here. So just as I have said, seldom has to be represented in terms of table form. So from that, seldom has been represented and it is represented in terms of numbers 1, 2, 4, 3, 6, 5. So from this, mode can be taken. M is represented as 5, O is represented as 6, D is represented as 3, and E is represented as 2. So the answer comes out as option 3. We can also get mixed coding of letters as well as digits. So if the letters here, mixed coding means letters and numbers are given here. So we need to find out the answer for a particular code. So here you are given the letter as A, 3T, 15R stands for ACT or actor, and DTIS stands for DATE. Then how will you code rotate? So here answer is given in a mixed format, letters as well as digits. Let us find out how the answer comes. The pattern is the same. Represent this in a table format, and you represent that many number of columns because the options given may not have the total number, and final question may be having larger number of columns. So based on that, you represent the table. So here A, 3, T, 15, R is represented as A, C, T, O and R, and DIT 5 is represented as DATE. Then from that you have to find out for rotate what is the answer. So by looking you can see R is represented again as R, O is represented as 15, so number comes in, T is represented as T again, and A is represented as, now here A can be represented as A itself, but in the answer, if you look at the answer, you can see that A is represented as I. So in the second option, I is also coming. So A is represented as I, that is coming. Then T is represented as T, and E is represented as 5. So based on the answers, you find that the answer comes out as 1. So this is how the alphabetical coding comes out. So whenever you get such type of questions, you represent it in a table format. So once you have the table format, then it is easy to represent all the alphabets in terms of codes or numbers, and once you get that, represent the final question, and from just by merely looking at the table we can find out the options. But before representation, just look at the answers also, because some of the answers may be a jumbled type of an answer, and the options may be embedded in either of the options or codes that are given. So based on that, you represent the final answer, and just look at the options given also while checking the table, and then it will be easy for you. So I hope alphabetical coding is a sure shot for all of you. So thank you all. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe. Thank you.